So I know we all heard the saying teamwork made the dream work, but that's definitely have been lost. That's a lost concept nowadays when we talk about sports in any subject, primarily football and basketball. People now put the players over the team, and I don't understand that concept when no player has ever won a championship without the quality role players and without those quality players on his team. We can look at LeBron James, for example. What's the difference between LeBron in 2016 when he won and LeBron in 2017 when he got swept? In 2016, he had a fantastic team. 2017, his team didn't change much, but he had the role players different. What does that tell you? Your team is just as important as a superstar on your team. People nowadays, they get so caught up in the statistics, the analytics, the PERs, all the defensive rate, whatever, all these ratings, and you know what I mean, the number crunching. We call those stat boys. Like the stat boys, they get caught up into all that stuff because they don't really understand the game. You have to understand the X's and O's and the mental aspect of basketball before you can even speak about championship teams. When you look at a championship team with no superstars, no quote unquote superstars, mind you. Look at those Spurs teams. Look at the 03-04 Detroit Pistons teams when they beat the Lakers. Everybody looking like, oh, I don't know how they won. I can't name nobody on their team. Richard Hamilton, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince. Like, what are you talking about? They were one piece away from becoming a dynasty. But nobody remembers those players because they don't understand the team concept. The team concept is boring to people because there's nobody standing out on a stat sheet. That's not how basketball works. Players like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who take all the credit when you win and deflect I don't know if he's personally deflecting it, but his fans deflect the blame onto his teammates when you lose. That's not how, bro, what? That's not how it works. You can't sit up here and praise somebody when they do great statistically and not keep that same energy when they do poorly. That's why players like Giannis probably will never win a ring because he doesn't truly understand the game. Look at a player like Kawhi. He came up on those Spurs teams and he lost a ring and he won a ring the following year. Why? Because they were taught the game. They had Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan. But nobody looks at those players as all-time greats because they don't stand out on the stat sheet. They're not dunking on people. They're not doing anything like that. You have to understand, in terms of any sport, teamwork is always going to make the dream work. If you have a compatible team, you have compatible superstars, as y'all want to call it, or if you have a team with no superstars, but you all mesh together and you all can play together, the chemistry is there on and off the court, you're going to win. It's not about who's your superstar. It's not about how many points you can put up. It's not about how many rebounds, how many double-doubles, what your PER is, what your defensive rating is, if you got MVP. None of that stuff matters. None of that stuff matters. You realize how good your team is probably around the All-Star break, after that All-Star break. And then once you get ready into them playoffs, that's when you really know who on your team can do what, who's coming like what. But without a team, you're not going to win no finals. You're not going to win a Super Bowl. You're not going to win a damn Stanley Cup either. Like, you have to have a team in order to win. And we can't let the stat boys, the analytic boys, we can't let those types of people get in the way of that. For everybody that values stats, analytics over actual game, they end up taking L's. Harden does it. Giannis does it. Russell did it. He averaged a triple-double 3 years in a row and ain't make it out the first round of the playoffs. So what does that say? And also, he didn't even average a triple-double in the playoffs. So what does that say? You have to base your stuff off of real talent, off of real ability. Look at players like Kevin Durant. Why is he a champion? Even though he did go to the finals with Oklahoma City and lost, why is he now a two-time champion? Because he has a real game. Come on now. Don't fall into the stats. Don't fall into the analytics. Don't fall into none of that. Analyze real game. Learn the X's and O's of basketball. Find out what makes you successful in the game of basketball. Then you'll go out there and catch some dubs. But until then, a lot of y'all favorite players gonna continue to take L's because y'all don't want to hold them accountable.